Hey everyone, ready to go from $0 to $1. I've got the step-by-step blueprint to help you build wealth fast and create the life you want. Let's make it happen.
Welcome back to the deep dive. And yeah, that promise, going from 0 to 7 figures, it often sounds, well, almost mythical, doesn't it? Like it's all about luck or some secret sauce.
Right, or just being in the right place at the right time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what we're digging into today is quite the opposite, the really structured 10-step blueprint. Think of it as a framework, really, pulled from the hard-won experience of entrepreneurs like Daniel Priestley,
Yeah.
the guy who built a multi-million-dollar business by 21.
Which is incredible, and I think the real value here, what these sources give us, is it sort of demystifies the whole thing. It takes away the magic and replaces it with a
A
process.
repeatable process. That's the key phrase.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're not talking about some fluke overnight success. We're looking at steps anyone can follow. And the core promise, which I find fascinating, is that hitting that $1 million revenue mark, it's accessible. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. You could be in a corporate gig squeezing this in evenings and weekends, or, maybe you're that 21-year-old who can grind 80 hours a week. The path, the actual steps, they're the same.
The only thing that changes is the timeline, essentially, how fast you move through those steps.
Right.
And that process-driven approach, that's what makes this material so powerful, I think. So our mission today is basically to unpack every single one of those 10 steps. We want to go beyond just a summary and really analyze, how do you actually do it? And maybe even more importantly, what are the sort of psychological hurdles each step helps you overcome?
Okay. And you've broken it down into phases.
Yeah, we've grouped it into 3 logical chunks to make it easier to digest. First, there's this crucial preparation phase, then the kind of testing and launch phase, and finally we get into scaling up and thinking about the exit.
Makes sense.
But we absolutely have to start at the beginning with that prep work.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that's the bit most people try to skip.
Okay, let's get into it then. Phase 1. The crucial preparation. This is the stuff you do before you even really have a business idea, right? The groundwork.
Precisely. It's the below-the-line activity, as the source calls it. It gives you that knowledge advantage. And it kicks off with step 1, the 766 apprenticeship.
766. Okay, what do those numbers mean?
It's a very specific, very strategic framework. It's designed to basically shortcut years of painful trial and error. The instruction is clear. Find a profitable small business that meets 3 criteria.
Okay.
1, it does 7 figures of revenue. That's $1 million minimum. 2, it makes 6 figures of profit. And 3, you commit to working there for 6 months, reporting directly to the entrepreneur, the owner.
Hold on, why those exact numbers? $1 million in revenue, 6 figures profit, 6 months. Why not just say, find a cool startup that just got funding and work there?
That's a really critical question. The $1 million revenue mark is important because it proves the business isn't just surviving on the founder's personal hustle or charisma.
Okay. It means they have systems.
Exactly. Repeatable, transferable systems. If a business is only doing, say, $200 case, it's probably just a high-paying job for the owner. But at $1 million, that implies they figured out delegation, supply chains, marketing systems, sales processes. It's a functioning machine.
And the 6 months?
6 months is generally seen as the minimum time you need to actually experience a full business cycle. You'll see sales peaks and troughs, marketing campaigns launch and fizzle, maybe quarter-end pressures. You get a real feel for the rhythm. Less than that, and you might only see one part of the picture.
Got it. So you're not there just to earn a salary. The goal is learning, acquisition of knowledge.
Absolutely. You're there with 3 specific learning goals in mind. First, gain commercial awareness, like really understanding the flow of money.
Yeah.
How do invoices get paid? How is profit actually calculated day to day? What activities directly drive revenue versus just keeping the lights on?
Seeing the engine room, basically.
Precisely. Second goal, and this one's often overlooked, is self-awareness. Working directly under the gun in a small, lean, profitable company. It throws your own strengths and weaknesses into sharp relief, fast. Are you actually disorganized under pressure? Do you secretly hate making sales calls? Are you uncomfortable managing people?
Ouch. Yeah, I can see that.
It's like, well, the source calls it free therapy for the ambitious, but maybe expensive free therapy. You learn what you're not good at, and crucially, you start identifying the kinds of people, the skill sets you'll need to hire later to plug your own gaps.
That makes so much sense because otherwise you launch your thing and you spend 6 months trying to teach yourself Facebook ads when really you should be out selling or vice versa.
Exactly. And the third gain from the apprenticeship, access to resources. You essentially inherit a network.
The Rolodex.
Kind of, yeah. You find out who the really good, reliable accountant is, the sharp lawyer who understands small business, the supplier who always delivers on time. You don't have to waste time scrolling through Google reviews. You just ask your mentor, who do you use for X?
It's like a cheat code.
It really is. The source material describes this whole experience as getting a massive firmware update for your brain.
Huh. I like that.
Yeah, if you've only ever been a, quote, cog in a massive corporation,
Ah,
you only see your little piece of the puzzle. You never witness how a tiny team, maybe 4 or 5 up to maybe a dozen people, manages the entire spectrum of business. Making stuff, selling stuff, collecting money, handling problems.
and seeing that makes it feel achievable,
Yeah.
less like some kind of corporate magic.
Completely demystified. You
Yeah.
realize, okay, it's hard work, but it's understandable, it's doable.
And the acceleration potential is huge. You mentioned an anecdote.
Yeah, the source cited someone who actually spent 2 years, a bit longer than the minimum 6 months, really embedded with a mentor. Then, when they finally launched their own thing, they hit 7 figures in revenue in their first year
Wow.
and 8 figures in year 3. You just don't get that kind of trajectory, that speed, without that deep foundational learning from something like the 766 apprenticeship.
Okay. So that deep learning, that firmware update, sets you up for step 2, which you called the validation stage.
Exactly. Step 2, the 90-day side hustle. This is your first real entrepreneurial test drive.
And the key rule here is super strict, right? It has to be open and shut in 90 days. Why is that time frame so non-negotiable?
That 90-day hard cap forces 2 really critical things to happen. First, it guarantees you complete a full value creation loop.
Value creation loop.
Yeah.
What does that encompass?
It means going all the way from the initial idea to actually building or preparing the product or service, marketing it somehow, making the sale, delivering it, and then, crucially, closing the books on it, all within 3 months.
Ah, I see. So you aim for some big long-term business idea from day one?
You'll spend 90 days just building a website or perfecting a logo and never actually complete the loop. You won't learn anything real.
Okay, so forces completion. What's the second outcome?
This one's more psychological. Because it's designed to end after 90 days, it forces you to pause, stop the operation, and actually reflect on the experience. Did you enjoy the process? Did you hate the sales part? Were you energized by dealing with customers? Or did it drain you?
Right. If it just keeps going, you get caught up in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Momentum takes over, your ego gets invested, and you might feel pressure to keep pushing an idea that isn't actually profitable, or just as bad, one you secretly despise doing day to day. The 90-day limit gives you a clean break to assess honestly.
So the crucial point here is this side hustle is not supposed to be your magnum opus, your perfect billion-dollar idea.
Absolutely not. It's designed to be a cheap, fast, low-risk experiment specifically to help you detach your ego from the outcome.
Okay. What are some examples of these low-risk hustles?
The sources give some really tangible ones, like buying 100 roses wholesale for maybe 40 cents each. That's a $30 risk. Then going door to door selling them for $4 a piece. If you sell them all, you've made $400, and more importantly, you've gone through the whole cycle. Sourcing, sales, delivery, cash handling, done in a weekend probably.
Okay, very simple. What about something more service-based?
For someone with professional skills, maybe it's taking on just 2 consulting clients for a fixed-term 90-day project, say a $15,000 engagement to produce a specific report or a series of training videos. You scope it tightly, deliver it, collect the fee, and then stop.
Again, completing the loop without building a whole consulting firm infrastructure.
Precisely. It tests your ability to sell a high-value service, deliver on your promise, and manage the client relationship, all within that fixed time frame.
And the core purpose, weaving back to the earlier point, is validation. The sources emphasize that even your best, most thought out idea is maybe only 40% baked in your head.
Yeah, that's a stark number, isn't it? The
Mhm.
remaining 60% of the critical information, the stuff you really need to know, like the actual objections customers have, their hidden desires, the friction points in your process, that knowledge only comes from interacting with real customers during that 90-day sprint.
You can't whiteboard that
You
60%.
absolutely cannot. It's a hard lesson many learn the expensive way, which actually leads nicely into that Tabasco toothpaste analogy the source uses.
Huh. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tabasco toothpaste.
It's a brilliant illustration of what they call a directionally correct product experiment. Let's say you have a wild idea, savory or spicy toothpaste. Sounds weird, right?
Definitely sounds weird.
Okay, so how do you test if there's any market appetite without spending a fortune? You don't call a factory and order 10,000 tubes.
No, please don't.
Instead, you do the absolute minimum. You buy a tube of the blandest, cheapest toothpaste you can find. You mix in a tiny bit of Tabasco sauce. You get some cheap disposable toothbrushes. Then you go somewhere with high foot traffic, a train station, a busy street corner, and you offer free samples.
Okay, a bit weird, but I see the logic. Minimal cost.
Tiny cost,
Hmm.
maybe 5 cents per sample. But the feedback you get is immediate. People's reactions, disgust, curiosity, maybe intrigue. That's pure gold. You're testing the core concept, the customer reaction, without investing any real time or capital in building the perfect product.
It's about the rapid feedback loop again.
Always. And when you're gathering that feedback, whether it's from toothpaste samples or sales calls for your consulting gig, you need some rigor. This isn't just about casual chats. You need to think about statistical significance.
Okay. So, how many people do you need to talk to or get feedback from for it to actually mean something?
The sources are quite specific here. There are two key thresholds. The absolute bare minimum to tell anything at all, as they put it, is 30 samples.
30. You're right.
That gives you your first sigma, your first level of confidence. You can't base decisions on feedback from 5 friends or 10 random people you stopped on the street.
Mm.
You need 30 distinct data points, 30 samples given, 30 surveys completed, 30 sales conversations.
And if you want more certainty to really fine tune things,
Then you need to aim for 150 samples. That gives you a much higher degree of confidence, allows for more nuanced insights, helps you really refine your messaging or product features.
that sounds like a lot for a side hustle.
It might seem like it, but this isn't just academic theory for big companies. The source reinforces this with a powerful example. A billionaire, someone with effectively unlimited resources, launching a new software product. What
Okay.
did he do first?
Let me guess. 30 meetings.
Exactly. He personally conducted 30 one-on-one sales meetings himself. Not his team, him. He wanted that raw, unfiltered, statistically relevant feedback directly from potential customers before he committed millions to the full engineering build-out.
Wow, okay, that puts it in perspective. If a billionaire values 30 conversations that highly, then maybe the rest of us should too.
It really underscores the point. It moves you from just hoping your idea is good to having actual data, some confidence that you're moving in the right direction.
So, completing that 90-day hustle, getting those 30 plus data points, it gives you the confidence, the real world learning, and maybe that self awareness piece too.
To move into phase 2, yes. You've proven you can execute, you've learned from the market, you know yourself a bit better. Now you're ready to get serious about finding the right idea and building the initial team.
Okay, let's move into section 2 then. Idea fit, team building, and launch. This kicks off with step 3. Idea generation and founder opportunity fit. So, you use what you learned in the hustle to brainstorm now.
Precisely. You proved you can actually do something, complete that value loop. Now you leverage that experience. The immediate next task is to generate 10 plausible business ideas. Just get them down on paper,
And ideas. Okay, then what?
then you filter them
Right.
ruthlessly using 3 specific commercial viability filters. They call it the pain, price
Then
filter.
break those down. Pain.
First filter. Does this idea solve a genuinely painful problem that people are actively experiencing right now? Not a minor annoyance, not a nice to have, real pain. If it's not solving pain, it's going to be incredibly hard to sell.
Got it. Price, or was it payment next?
Let's go with the outcome first, then price payment. Second filter. Does it deliver a remarkable outcome or transformation?
Remarkable outcome, meaning,
People pay for significant results. Does your idea save someone a ton of money? Does it save them hundreds of hours of frustration? Does it achieve a major health goal? Does it provide a truly unique, delightful experience? The outcome needs to be compelling, remarkable.
okay, solves pain, delivers a great outcome. What's the third filter?
Third, do the target customers have high disposable income? And critically, are they willing to pay a premium price for that remarkable outcome? Or can they clearly justify a high ROI? This filter immediately weeds out ideas stuck in low-margin, price-sensitive markets.
Right. So going back to the spicy toothpaste.
Yeah, let's run it through. Pain? Not really solving a major pain. Brushing teeth isn't usually painful. Outcome? Slightly different breath, maybe. Not exactly remarkable. Price payment. Toothpaste is a low-cost consumer good. People aren't likely to pay a huge premium. It fails on all three counts.
Whereas, say, a B2B software that demonstrably saves a medium-sized company $500,000 a year in operational costs.
Bingo. Solves a massive pain, cost. Delivers a remarkable outcome, huge savings. And the customer, the company, can easily justify paying, say, $50K, $100K for it because the ROI is obvious. High scores across the board.
Okay, so these filters narrow it down from 10 ideas to maybe the top 2 or 3 that look commercially strong. What's the tiebreaker?
The tiebreaker is founder opportunity fit. This is where you bring yourself back into the equation. It's a personal filter based on your passion, your story, your background. You assess these top ideas against your personal origin, mission, and vision.
Origin, mission, vision. Okay, these can sound a bit like corporate buzzwords. How does the source define them specifically in this context?
Good point. They need concrete definition. Your origin story isn't just where you were born. In this context, it's about your track record. What successful case studies do you already have, even small ones, where you delivered real value? What are the things people consistently say you're good at? And critically, when have people told you that your work or your advice was too cheap?
Ah, that's interesting. Finding where you've previously undervalued your own skills.
Exactly. That tells you where your innate, potentially marketable talent lies. Then there's vision. This needs to be about the change you want to see in the world, not just your personal bank account.
So not I want a Lamborghini.
Definitely not. It should be aspirational, something external. Maybe it's, I want to simplify financial literacy for freelancers, or I want to make sustainable fashion accessible. A compelling vision inspires you, your future team, and your customers. A selfish vision falls flat.
Okay, origin, vision. What's mission?
Mission is about identifying and then structuring your business around your highest value activity. The source uses a great analogy. Think of dentists. They might spend lots of time doing routine cleanings or fillings,
Sure.
but their highest value activity, the thing that brings in the most profit per hour, might be the 15-minute consultation where they diagnose complex issues and sell a $12,000 cosmetic dentistry package. Your mission is to figure out your equivalent of that 15-minute high-leverage activity and build your role around that, delegating the lower value stuff.
Maximize your unique contribution. Okay, that makes sense. And this whole process, finding the fit, it also leads to the idea that you don't have to be totally original, right? The cloning strategy.
Yes. This is counterintuitive for many. We're often told, be unique, be revolutionary. But the sources are very pragmatic. In business, we copy, or maybe a better word is optimize all the time. Look at successful competitors in the space you've chosen. Understand their model. Then aim to be evolutionary, not necessarily revolutionary.
Evolutionary, meaning you find a specific angle, a way to improve or differentiate, rather than inventing something completely new from scratch.
Exactly. And that differentiation often isn't about price. You can compete effectively on other factors, like relatability.
How does that work?
Think about the fitness industry again. The world's best trainer might be some super shredded 25-year-old Olympian. But if your target customer is a 45-year-old dad trying to lose 40 pounds, he might find that Olympian totally unrelatable, even intimidating.
Right. He might connect better with someone who looks like him and went through the same struggle.
Precisely. That trainer, the 45-year-old dad who actually did lose the weight and understands the challenges firsthand, has a massive relatability advantage for that specific audience. That's a competitive edge.
Or you compete on experience.
Yeah, connectivity or experience. If you're selling, say, a high-end online course, maybe your big famous competitor offers zero personal access. Your evolutionary advantage could be offering weekly one-on-one coaching calls or personalized feedback. That high-touch experience justifies a premium price and caters to a segment the big guys can't serve. It's perfect for a lifestyle business model.
Okay, so you find your niche, your angle, you've got the idea with Founder Fit. What's the immediate next step to actually get moving?
This is where you accelerate significantly. Step 4, the two-person scout team. You move beyond being a solo act. The goal now is to cross that $10,000 per month revenue threshold, and the source is clear. You need a partner, a plus one, to do it effectively.
Plus one could be a co-founder or someone more specific.
Could be a co-founder, yeah. Or maybe it's your first key hire, perhaps a dedicated salesperson if you hate selling, or someone brilliant at operations and customer success if that's your weak spot. The key is finding someone to collaborate with deeply.
Why is this considered so non-negotiable for hitting that $10 a month mark?
It's about more than just dividing the workload, though that's part of it. It's the power of, well, the source calls it delegation and nattering.
Nattering, like chatting.
Kind of. It means having someone to bounce ideas off, to argue with constructively, to challenge your assumptions. When you lock horns productively, the ideas get better. And, crucially, you double your effective output.
How so?
Imagine. Partner A spends their entire week focused purely on making 30 sales calls. Partner B spends their week doing a deep dive to fix a critical customer service issue or streamline onboarding. If you're alone, you have to stop selling to fix the operations problem, or vice versa. Your momentum stalls constantly. With two, you cover more ground faster.
Okay, I see the logic, but the big objection always comes up here, doesn't it? Equity. This was my idea. I did the 766. I did the 90-day hustle. Why on earth would I give away, say, 50% of my company right now when it's barely off the ground?
That is the classic and often fatal objection. It stems from fundamentally misunderstanding value. You're not giving away equity. You're buying speed. You're paying for accelerated value creation. Early-stage equity, frankly, is usually worth zero on paper.
Right. It's potential, not reality yet.
Exactly. The analogy used is stark but effective. Would you rather own 100% of a flimsy tent pitched precariously on the side of a busy highway, or would you prefer 50% ownership of a beautiful, well-built house in a fantastic neighborhood?
Okay, yeah. 50% of something substantial is better than 100% of something worthless or likely to fail.
Precisely. 50% of a business that actually reaches $1 million because you had a partner is infinitely more valuable than 100% of an idea that dies because you tried to do it all yourself and burned out or moved too slowly.
There's another analogy, too, about land development.
Yes, that helps clarify the contribution aspect. Imagine you own a piece of land worth $1 million. Your neighbor owns an adjacent piece, also worth $1 million. Separately, they're okay, but if you combine them, suddenly you have a site suitable for a $12 million apartment complex development. The combined value is way more than the sum of the parts. Way more. Did you give away your $1 million land? No. You both contributed a valuable asset to create something far bigger together. Both parties gain massively. It's not generosity, it's strategic leverage.
So equity is one way to pay for that partner. What are the other options?
The entrepreneur really has three main currencies they can deploy. Equity is one great for aligning long-term incentives and buying speed when cash is tight. Cash is another, paying a salary for specific roles or tasks. And the third is time, specifically your own time, working crazy overtime hours.
Which is what most solo founders default to, and it's not sustainable.
Exactly. The smartest entrepreneurs strategically use equity, especially early on, to buy back their time and accelerate progress. Speed is the most precious commodity in the early stages.
Okay, so you've got your plus one, you're a two-person team. What are the next steps before you really try to scale? Steps 5 and 6.
Right. Step 5 is about scouting specifically, understanding the crucial difference between your minimum viable product, MVP, and your eventual core offering.
MVP versus core offering. People mix these up, don't they?
All the time. The MVP, according to this framework, is purely for testing and validating interest before you pour resources into building the full product. Often the best MVP isn't even a product at all.
What do you mean?
It might just be an intent gatherer, a simple landing page describing your planned book, asking people to sign up for a waiting list if they're interested. You haven't written a word, but you're testing demand.
Bro.
Or it could be a free trial, a small pilot workshop, even a themed dinner party where you discuss the concepts.
So the MVP's job is just to prove people will take some kind of action, raise their hand.
Exactly. It proves they're willing to move from passive interest to active commitment, however small. It validates the core premise before you build the expensive core offering.
Okay. And then step 6 is acquisition, actually getting customers.
Yes. And this step comes with a fundamental truth that you absolutely cannot ignore. A business comes into existence when you have a customer, not when you have something to sell.
Oof. That's blunt.
It has to be. If you build the most amazing product in the world but nobody buys it, you don't have a business. You have an expensive hobby you must sell.
But so many people, especially maybe technical founders or creatives, are terrified of sales. They see it as pushy or manipulative.
That fear is understandable, but ultimately irrational, especially if you aspire to leadership. Because look at any high-level role. CEOs are constantly selling the vision to investors, selling ideas to their board, selling the company culture to employees. A major general in the army is selling the mission, selling the need for discipline and compliance. Even a doctor is selling the patient on the necessity of a treatment plan.
That's a good perspective shift. Sales as influence and communication, not just pressure.
Exactly. And the source material outlines a specific approach, consultative sales. It should feel less like a hard pitch and more like a doctor's appointment. Systematic, diagnostic.
What's the pattern?
You follow a clear sequence.
Yeah.
First, diagnose the current situation. What's going on right now? Second, understand what they're trying to achieve. Where do you want to get to? Third, identify their biggest obstacle. What's stopping you?
So listen first. Understand the problem deeply.
Absolutely. Only after you've done that diagnosis, built some trust, and truly understand their pain point, only then do you earn the right to ask permission. Okay, based on what you've told me, can I share some insights and potential solutions that might help?
Ask permission. Nice touch.
It's respectful. Then you can share your insights, what you've learned helping others, outline your method, the steps you recommend, and finally present your solution, your product or service, including features and pricing. It's a logical flow, not an ambush.
But doing this effectively requires confidence, right? Which comes back to
practice and data. Remember those 30 samples. You need to have at least 30 of these consultative sales conversations under your belt just to start feeling competent and confident in the process. You can't expect to nail it after just 5 calls.
And you also need realistic expectations about how many calls it takes to actually get a yes. The conversion rates?
Oh, the conversion rates. Yes, they can be brutally sobering, especially for higher-priced offers. Even for well-established businesses, you might need 50 qualified leads just to close one single sale.
50 leads for one sale. Wow.
And the source cited a specific example, a successful, well-marketed online course selling for around $1,000. Its conversion rate from sales page visitor to buyer, 0.5%.
0.5%. That's 1 in 200 people.
1 in 200, exactly. Knowing that number is critical because it completely changes your perspective on the volume required in the next phase, the scaling phase.
Right. If you need to make, say, 10 sales a month, and you convert at 1 in 200, the lead generation numbers become huge.
Astronomical. But those initial one-on-one sales calls, even though most say no, are invaluable because they teach you why the 1 out of 9 said no. That's the feedback you use to refine everything before you try to scale.
Okay. That perfectly sets the stage for the final section. Section 3, scaling, systems, and the exit decision. We're moving past the 2-person scout team now.
We are. Step 7 is about strategically expanding the team to 4 core people, and the source identifies one hire as absolutely crucial for rapid scaling at this stage. That's the associate key person of influence, or associate KPI.
Associate KPI, so not the founder themselves, someone external.
Usually, yes.
Yes.
This is the ultimate leverage play. The associate KPI is someone who lends their existing name, their reputation, their credibility to your venture. They don't necessarily need to put in a lot of time or day-to-day effort.
But their association opens doors, builds trust instantly.
1,000 times faster than you could build it yourself from scratch. Their endorsement provides immediate credibility and attracts attention.
How do you compensate someone like that? They sound valuable.
They are. The source gives a really specific, interesting compensation model from a real first business scenario. The KPI received 5% of the revenue generated through initiatives they were associated with, plus a fixed speaking fee, maybe $1,500, each time they spoke at an event or appeared in marketing.
5% of revenue. That could be significant.
In the example given, it worked out to about $130,000 for the KPI that year, even though they might have only shown up for maybe 10 days of actual work speaking, filming content, etc. You're essentially trading a slice of future revenue for massive, immediate brand acceleration and trust.
Okay, so the team of 4 is the founder entrepreneur.
Right, the entrepreneur who needs to pick their lane. Are they the visionary, the operator, the salesperson? Then you typically need someone leading sales acquisition, someone leading customer success delivery, potentially a general manager type handling operations.
And the associate KPI providing that external credibility boost.
Exactly. That 4-person squad covers the core functions needed to start scaling more systematically.
And finding this KPI, do they need to be a mega celebrity? Millions of followers?
Not necessarily. Often, someone with maybe 20,000 to 50,000 highly engaged followers within your specific niche is perfect. Or it might just be someone with a really powerful, trusted story or reputation within your industry, even without a huge online presence.
Could you hire them just for a short period?
Absolutely. You might hire a relevant KPI for just a specific launch campaign, pay them a day rate, maybe $2,000 or $3,000, just to film some launch videos, do a webinar with you, lend their face to the project for that critical period.
Smart. Okay, so team of 4, KPI on board. Step 8 is about marketing at scale.
Precisely. You can't rely solely on one-on-one sales anymore. You need a way to attract and engage many potential customers simultaneously. This requires implementing a product for prospects, or P4P.
P4P, product for prospects. What is that exactly?
It's essentially a low-commitment, easy first step that someone interested in your topic can take, even if they're not ready to buy your main core offering yet. It draws people into your world.
Give me some examples.
Think of a free webinar on a relevant subject, a downloadable checklist or guide, an online quiz or assessment tool, or the example used in the source, a free 7-day YouTube crash course delivered via email.
Ah, so it provides value up front for free or very low cost.
Exactly. This free P4P attracts hundreds, maybe thousands, of leads people who are interested in the category you operate in. It builds your email list, establishes your expertise, and then from that large pool engaged with the P4P, you nurture and identify the smaller number who are ready to buy your more expensive core product, the $1,000 course, the $5,000 coaching program.
So the P4P is the top of the funnel, the mass marketing tool that feeds the sales engine.
Perfectly put. It allows you to effectively sell one-to-many before you engage one-to-one with the most qualified prospects.
Which leads us, I suspect, to the really hard part. Step 9, the perfect repeatable week.
Yes. This is where the romantic dream of passive income often collides with reality. This phase is about intense, systematic, repeatable execution to hit serious revenue targets. Let's say the goal is $50,000 a month, which is $600,000 a year run rate.
Okay, ambitious but achievable with the right systems.
Right. But let's do the math, working backwards. If you're selling a $5,000 product, to hit $50K a month, you need 10 sales. That's roughly 2 or 3 sales every single week.
Okay.
Now remember that sobering 1 in 200 conversion rate we talked about for well-established offers. Even if you're better, maybe 1 in 100. To get 2-3 sales a week, You still need to generate somewhere between 200 and 600 qualified leads every single week,
Right.
week in, week out.
Wow, that's a lot of leads. How do you possibly generate that volume consistently?
Through relentless, repeatable activity. The perfect repeatable week isn't about inspiration, it's about discipline. It must include things like daily content creation and posting on your key social media channels, running a consistent, optimized advertising budget, for example, maybe spending $3,000 a week on ads to acquire 600 leads, assuming a $5 cost per lead.
Daily posting, consistent ad spend. Okay, that sounds like standard marketing. What else?
And here's the bit that often shocks people. The real engine behind scaling for many businesses, described in the source material, sending 100 personalized direct messages, DMs, or outreach emails every single day.
100 a day, 7 days a week.
7 days a week. That's 700 personalized outreach attempts every week, aimed at engaging potential customers, starting conversations, and guiding them towards your P4P or sales funnel.
3,000 DMs a month. That's hardcore. That's not passive at all.
It is the absolute opposite of passive. The source mentions founders of companies now valued at $50 or $100 million who built their initial scale on exactly this kind of high-volume personalized outreach. It's intensely deliberate, focused, scalable work. It's grinding.
No wonder they use strong analogies for this phase, the concrete flywheel.
Yes, the concrete flywheel. Think about pushing a massive, heavy concrete flywheel. Getting it to start moving is incredibly difficult. It takes immense, consistent effort, pushing and pushing. You feel like you're getting nowhere.
Right, exhausting.
But once you finally get it spinning, through sheer persistence, it builds momentum. And then it only requires relatively small, periodic taps to keep it going at speed. Those 100 daily DMs, the daily posts, the ad spend, that's the relentless pushing required to get the flywheel spinning.
And the other analogy, Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. Shawshank Redemption. Remember Andy Dufresne tunneling out of prison?
With the tiny rock hammer over decades.
Exactly. The point is, you're trying to escape the prison of your current constraints, maybe financial limitations, a job you dislike, lack of freedom. Getting out requires tunneling through solid rock or concrete very slowly, chip by chip. It's not a sudden explosion. It's relentless, consistent, often unseen daily effort. That's what building this repeatable week feels like.
Okay, so it's a grind, but it's a structured, purposeful grind. What's a realistic time frame to get to that $1 million run rate if someone really commits to this?
Assuming they've done the 90-day prep properly, steps 1 and 2, and can launch effectively, and then consistently execute that perfect week. The sources suggest it's possible to hit $1 million annual run rate within about 12 months of properly launching.
12 months? That's incredibly fast.
It's aggressive, yes. It requires someone who can, as they say, kick the door down and execute relentlessly. But it's deemed achievable precisely because you're following a proven blueprint, not making it up as you go.
Which brings us to the final step, step 10, closing the loop and making a big decision.
Right. Step 10 is about understanding the entire cycle and recognizing the critical choice point. Let's quickly recap the macro cycle first.
Okay.
It starts with finding that founder opportunity fit. Then you test intent with an MVP. You achieve product market fit, knowing who buys and why. You execute the go-to-market strategy, the perfect week. Then comes the scale-up phase, and potentially an exit. Then you celebrate, rest, and maybe go again.
And the team size grows predictably alongside this cycle.
Absolutely. You start with 2-person scout team, 10 kill a month level. You move to the 4-person KPI team to initiate go-to-market, 50 kill a month. Then you typically need around 8 people for a really robust, systematic go-to-market operation. $600K, $1 roof plus year. And hitting the full scale-up exit phase usually requires 30-plus people.
Okay, so that 8-person team running the $600K to $1 a machine, that's the crucial fork in the road.
That is the critical decision point. When you've successfully built that 8-person team and the business is running smoothly, generating solid profits, you have 2 fundamental paths forward.
Path A.
Option A is performance and exit. You decide to push through the next phase of intense growth, the scale up. This means going from 8 people to 30, 50, maybe 100-plus section. It's incredibly demanding. You become a manager of managers, dealing with complex HR, finance, infrastructure, maybe raising capital.
Sounds stressful.
It absolutely is.
Okay.
But the potential reward is a life-changing exit event, selling the company for millions, maybe tens of millions of dollars. You trade intense short-term pain for a massive long-term capital gain.
Okay. And option B?
Option B is the lifestyle stop. You consciously decide not to go through the scale-up pain. You choose to stabilize the business at that profitable 8-person go-to-market size. You optimize the systems, ensure it runs efficiently, and position yourself maybe as the figurehead, the KPI, the strategist, but not the day-to-day operator.
So you deliberately cap the growth.
You cap the complexity, yes.
Yeah.
The source calls this achieving semi-exit status. The 8-person team runs the machine sales, marketing, delivery operations. Because the systems are dialed in from the perfect week phase, you, the founder, might only need to be involved in, say, 4 or 5 high-level strategic meetings per month to keep things on track.
So you get high income, high freedom, but maybe not the giant exit payday.
Exactly. It offers significant financial freedom, probably high 6-figure or even 7-figure personal income, fulfillment from running a successful business you built, but with vastly reduced operational stress compared to scaling to 30-plus people. It's choosing a sustainable, enjoyable lifestyle over the potential maximum financial outcome. High control and income versus trading time and sanity for a huge capital event.
That's a really important distinction, and it leads back to the biggest mistake people make.
It does. The single biggest error, according to these sources, that aspiring entrepreneurs make is simply not knowing that this structured, disciplined set of steps even exists.
They try to reinvent the wheel every single time.
They waste years trying to figure everything out from scratch, how to validate ideas, how to build a team, how to scale marketing, how to structure sales when there's a proven, repeatable blueprint available. It's like, trying to practice medicine in the 1800s and refusing to believe in germ theory because you want to figure it out yourself.
Don't be that person. Learn from others.
Exactly. Entrepreneurship is a discipline, a craft. There are steps. You learn the steps, the apprenticeship, the 30 samples, the P4P, the DMs, the team structures, and then you apply your unique creativity and innovation around the edges. But the core path, it's largely mapped out.
Okay, let's try and quickly summarize that whole $0 to $1 meal blueprint then. We started with that vital preparation phase, the deep immersion of the 766 apprenticeship, followed by the crucial, ego-detaching 90-day side hustle.
Then we moved into validation and building the initial structure, getting those critical 30 or ideally 150 data points, and forming the 2-person scout team to break past solo limitations.
Next came scaling. Leveraging an associate KPI for instant credibility, building the P4P as your mass marketing engine, and then buckling down for the systematic grind of Step 9, the perfect repeatable week, fueled by hundreds or thousands of weekly leads and daily outreach.
And finally, reaching that critical junction at the 8-person T mark, where you consciously choose. Do you push for the massive exit via the intense scale-up phase with 30-plus people, or do you opt for the lifestyle stop, enjoying high income and freedom with a stable, optimized team?
The relevance for you listening, it feels huge. Even if you're thinking, I don't want to build a huge company or be a full-time entrepreneur.
Even then, just acquiring the skills embedded in this process, knowing how to generate leads systematically, how to run a consultative sales conversation, how to actually acquire a customer and deliver value independently, these skills are becoming almost essential survival tools in the modern economy, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The stability of traditional career paths just isn't what it used to be. Having the ability to generate your own income is incredibly empowering.
And the potential payoff, financially and in terms of autonomy, for mastering these entrepreneurial skills is just, well, it's astronomical compared to the incremental gains in many traditional professions.
So, knowledge is the first step. You've heard the framework now. The biggest mistake, as we said, is knowing this and doing nothing, inaction.
Precisely. You now know the steps exist. You can't unknow them.
So we'll leave you with that final provocative thought to chew on. Now that you know this framework exists, what is the single fastest, cheapest, lowest risk 90-day experiment that Step 2 side hustle that you could realistically commit to launching this month. What tiny step can you take to start your own personal value creation loop and begin tunneling?
It's time to stop just thinking about it and actually start doing, start testing.
Great stuff. Lots to think about there. We'll see you on the next deep dive.